What's up guys, today I'm taking a look at a blaster called the Valkyrie. There's a few different versions of the Valkyrie out there, and the original design was made by a creator in China called Leon. The one I have here is made by a company called Sembylon, and they're not officially licensed by Leon to actually produce this blaster. There's also some changes Sembylon have made to theirs compared to the original design. This blaster was sent to me for review by the Australian distributor Tac Toys, who you might have seen in some of my other videos who've sent me gel blasters before. If you live in Australia and want to pick one of these up, you can actually save some money by using the code BRAD at checkout, and that code stacks with other discount codes you might already have. The Sembylon Valkyrie is a mag-fed manual spring-powered blaster. It's made primarily of nylon, which feels very smooth and durable in the hand. And it has this grey, black and yellow colour scheme, which may be a little dark for public use. So if you do want to use this out in public, I'd recommend giving it a paint job. Otherwise, a Karen squinting at it from across the park could easily mistake it for a UMP-45. The air volume of this blaster's cylinder, or plunger tube as some people still call it, is pretty much the same as a Talon Claw version 3. So around 86 cc's. That puts the power capability of this blaster above that of the Dart Zone line of blasters, but below that of say a Lynx or a Worker Swift. Straight out of the box, I found it has a pretty weak spring installed that's pretty easy to prime, so a kid could easily use this blaster. But as a result, it's only shooting about 100 to 130 feet per second straight out of the box. As it comes out of the box, it also doesn't have a very good air seal. I found the issue to be the front pusher O-ring, and as soon as I swapped that out for a slightly thicker one out of my universal O-ring kit, it gave it a perfect air seal which can pretty much hold indefinitely. One other modification that I made was simply to install a stronger spring. To swap the spring, simply remove the butt plate by undoing 3 screws, 1 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And I know someone's going to ask, so the spring I'm using here is a Sabre M20 14 kg spring with 5 coils removed. But you could just as easily use the hobby standard of K26 or any other hardware store spring. With the upgraded pusher O-ring and the 14 kg spring, here's how mine's shooting over the chronograph. With those simple upgrades, I got a high of 211, a low of 198, and an average of 207, with a fairly consistent velocity spread. Keeping in mind this is a short blaster designed for CQB, it's not going to shoot as hard as a longer blaster like a Worker Swift or even a Caliburn. The small size and nylon construction does mean it only weighs 1.6 kilograms though. One downside of the Sembylon Valkyrie, well some people will call this a downside, is that instead of using worker angled Talon mags like most of the other Valkyries Leon designed, this one differs by using a proprietary magazine. Personally, I think whether this is a downside really depends on the user. Worker angled Talons are fairly new, and aside from the Phoenix 2.0, there's not a whole lot of blasters using them yet, so a lot of people would be buying into new magazines either way. The magazines though can hold a maximum of 20 shots. I'd probably only load them to 18 shots though, or it will start to squish your darts. A cool feature of the Sembylon Valkyrie though, is that the magazine can be removed while the breech is closed, thanks to a narrow section in the middle of the pusher. A downside of having the narrow section of the pusher though, particularly the fact that the entire pusher is made of nylon rather than stainless steel, is that the inner diameter of the pusher needs to be quite narrow to keep strength. What that means is that this pusher could be a potential bottleneck in performance of the blaster. And I do know of one person in Singapore who's already drilled that out and actually gained some velocity. The downside of doing that though is that you will weaken the pusher. The barrel on the Sembylon Valkyrie slides in from the front and has 2 grooves where the screws secure it in place. Included in the box, you also get a bearing scar rifling attachment, which simply friction fits onto the end of the barrel, increasing accuracy. And it fits so snugly on there that it's really difficult to remove afterwards. Sleeved over the barrel is a return spring which, in theory, should close the breech when you let go, but it's just not strong enough to do so. Personally, I'd just go without this return spring. I'm not sure why I even still have it on here now, But if you upgrade the pusher O-ring like I did to a fatter one, that breech isn't going to come open when you tilt your blaster up. Some other accessories you get included in the box is this black vertical grip. You've probably used this exact model before. It's a pretty common grip to use on Nerf blasters or gel blasters. You also get 2 just for looks iron sights. I think they're made of nylon as well. And you also get probably the cheapest imitation of an EOTech that I've ever seen. It's about as effective as taping a cardboard roll to the top of your blaster. It does an alright job of looking the part, but I can't suffer mine to live when for $20 on eBay or Amazon you can get a sight that actually functions. Up front on the handguard you've got some M-lock slots for attachments, but because of the moving shotgun grip inside of it, there just isn't enough space to actually add any M-lock attachments to the blaster without preventing the blaster from functioning. And finally, up the back it has a fully adjustable buttstock with 4 different locking positions plus fully removed. The stock has aluminium supports and it's quite sturdy, just like the entire blaster overall. That pretty much wraps up the overview. Let's head outside and shoot it. Because the blaster is only shooting an average velocity of 200 feet per second, I'll only be testing it from a distance of 30 meters for the accuracy test. Okay guys, so for a 200 feet per second blaster to reach the target at 30 meters, I'm going to be aiming slightly above the white Battle for Waterloo sign. Okay. At 30 meters, it shot a grouping about 50 centimeters wide and 1 meter high. In the slow motion of the scope cam, you could see the darts were a bit unstable in flight though, so I don't think the provided bearing scar barrel is all that great. I'd personally swap it out for one that imparts more spin on the darts. Overall, I think the Sembylon Valkyrie is a pretty cool blaster, even with its downfalls like having a proprietary magazine and a poor air seal out of the box. I can definitely see it being a popular option given the low price and the mid-level performance of 200 feet per second with some light upgrades. As usual, I'll end off the video with some gameplay recorded at the Battle for Waterloo skirmish field. I only used it for a couple of rounds since the velocity limit was 330 feet per second, and this is only shooting 200, but enjoy the gameplay. Yep.
Oh, in the head! Oh, there you are. I knew you were around there somewhere. You'll be blasted. fucking patchy. Okay.
I think so.
You got me in the shoulder as well, man.
Oh, okay. It was either you or someone behind me that got me.
That's it for this one, guys. If you liked this video, consider leaving a like and a comment down below. Also, here's 2 other videos that you might enjoy. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.